Welcome back. As we are continuing our conversation on research paradigms, we will continue our conversation today on another research paradigm, which is feminist theory. Feminist theory focuses on some unique aspect of research that previous theories don't really focus on. And as the name itself suggests, feminist theory focuses on women experience, women perspectives, which has been missing in quite a lot of research studies. So feminist theory focuses on women perspective and women experiences. Further, it does a critique of structure of power that we see in our society. And through that, it creates new knowledge. It challenges the existing male-dominated social structures and narratives and ideologies. Further, by doing these critical analysis, it promotes social justice, equity, and empowerment for women. So let's start. So that's briefly about feminist theory. Now let's talk about, from a research paradigm perspective, the three main points that we have been discussing in all the research paradigms, namely nature of reality, and we call it, in research terminology, we call it ontology. And then we will discuss on nature of knowledge, and we call it epistemology. And finally, values and ethics under these paradigms, which is axiology. So, starting with the nature of reality, feminist theory posits that reality is socially constructed. Which we have already discussed in social constructivism. However, they add another layer, that the social reality that we see, that we experience, is affected and shaped by gender and power dynamics, which is involved through gender. And when they say gender, what they mean to say is specifically patriarchal norms and values. So reality is social constructed, and it is affected, shaped, modulated by patriarchal social norms and values. It goes deeper into saying that the reality that we see around us is mostly male perspectives. The research, the knowledge that we see is more dominated by male perspective rather than other gender perspective. Further, in terms of social reality, they argue that reality is, which is socially constructed, is complex and multifaceted. They call it complex. Reality is complex, and the reason is the reality which is socially constructed is shaped by so many factors. And obviously, as a feminist theory, one of the factors is gender. But they argue that it's not only gender, there are other uh, factors that shape our social sorry, our socially constructed reality. And those factors are, apart from gender, uh, class, race, social orientations. So according to feminist theory paradigm, nature of reality is socially constructed, and that's why there is no one truth or one perspective, one reality. So there are multiple realities which are socially constructed through our interaction in society. However, as feminists, the name itself suggests, they focus mainly on the gender role and how these gender roles, the construction of gender in our society, sort of shapes our understanding of reality. So, and along with those gender patriarchal norms and values, they also talk about class, race, and other variables that affect our understanding of reality, uh, the shaping of the reality for us. So that's briefly about what is the nature of reality according to this theory. Now let's move to nature of knowledge, epistemology. Feminist theory argue that historically, and that's so true, that historically the knowledge generation process has been dominated by males. And that's why the knowledge we see, the knowledge which has been generated is mostly, in most part, is perspective, experience of the majority culture. Sorry, not the majority culture, but the male dominated perspectives. Therefore, the lived experiences that we see uh, is mostly created and sort of understood from male perspective. So the knowledge, because of this male dominated values that govern the research, is uh, is has certain gaps and limited. It's not the complete. It doesn't tell the complete story. So they argue that to bridge this gap, the way we can create knowledge is, first of all, being aware of the role of gender and other factors such as class, race, that shapes the reality. So being aware, meaning that as a researcher, when we think about knowledge generation, first of all, we have to be reflective. Reflective and be more cognizant and aware of our own privileges that we enjoy based on our gender, based on our race, based on our class, and be mindful of those privileges that we carry as a researcher, as people who come together and generate knowledge. So that's number one. Second, and very important aspect of knowledge generation under feminist theory is critically examine the existing power structures in society. So critical examination of social structures from obviously gender and also other uh, groups which are marginalized historically, particularly in the context of LGBTQ plus perspective. So critical examination of social structures, power dynamics that we see in society in the context of gender and other marginalized communities. So it emphasizes a lot on a critical examination of those values, the knowledge which is pre-existing from these lenses. Further, feminist theory also emphasizes to promote social justice, empowerment, and equality for women and other marginalized groups. Uh, in fact, I would use the word activist scholarship for this paradigm. As a researcher, you focus on critically examining the social structures, but also at your heart, what really at your heart you promote these values, which is social justice, equality, and empowerment for all, particularly women and gender minorities, including LGBTQ group. So, in summary, feminist theory is a critical lens that examines social realities, social structures, power dynamics, and how it influences social reality in the context of women experiences, uh, social norms in terms of gender, and how it overall shapes the reality for the half of the population, particularly we are talking here women and other gender minorities people. So that's briefly about critical theory, sorry, not critical theory, feminist theory, which is used as a research paradigm. Thank you.